Moving on to Iran, protests over Iran's rising cost of living have now spread to several universities, with students joining shopkeepers and bazaar merchants as the government has offered talks with demonstrators. The protests were reported across Tehran on Tuesday, including some major universities, with crowds seen marching in central areas of the capital. The unrest comes as Iran's currency has lost nearly half its value against the dollar this year, while inflation has climbed above 42% in December. President Masoud Pezeshkian has said that the interior minister was instructed to listen to what were described as legitimate demands, and officials have confirmed that a dialogue mechanism will be set up. Similar protests have been forcefully contained in the past, as sanctions and economic pressure continue to place heavy strain on Iran's economy. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Adrian Calamel. He's a terrorism scholar, joins us live from New York. Thank you very much, Mr. Calamel, for staying with us. Now looking at this, it seems like in the past, seeing protests or news coming in of protests was very rare, but these days we are seeing Iranian people rise up. Do you think that Iranian government is becoming more lenient towards its people, or it's just that they are still coarse but people have decided to rise up? What's the situation?
No, yeah, that's a great question, Asuma, and it's really the people have been deciding to rise up. And if you look at the trajectory, it started December 2017. They started to rise up, and they've gone through peaks and valleys of rising up against the government. Sometimes it's university students. A lot of times, which has been unique about some of these protests, they've risen up in countrysides and seem rather sporadic. Instead of the city centers like Tehran, where they had traditionally been held, what you mentioned the bazaars, and that's a very interesting development because that's the middle class. Those are the individuals that kind of, if we look at the Islamic Republic's economy, 70 to 80% of it is controlled by the IRGC. And that leaves very little money for the rest of the people who go around. The bazaars are kind of the middlemen. They're also the individuals, kind of I would say, the middle class, and they're completely being wiped out. With the sanctions, the Islamic Republic can blame sanctions, but the real reality of the matter is they do have enormous sanctions on them right now, but the United States hasn't been enforcing them. Unlike President Trump did from 2018 to 2020. So the sanctions really aren't hitting them. What they're doing with the money that they're getting is that they've already sent $2 billion to Hezbollah, and that has been since the ceasefire on the Lebanese border. They're also rebuilding their ballistic missile capabilities, and the people see this. They see that they have a complete, what you call a command economy, not a demand economy, and the people keep on, they're being brutalized, they're being arrested, killed in some cases. I won't speak of some of the atrocities. They're losing their wealth. They're also, there's a significant water crisis. I'm not sure if you're aware of that in Iran right now, and that's just from mismanagement of resources in the country. So it's really, I look at tyrannies, and I do consider the Islamic Republic a tyranny. They generally collapse from the inside. There's maybe a slight push from the outside, like the 12-day war, which happened, but there's a toxic stew of problems that they have inside the country, and they have suppressed the people for over 40 years now, and you can't keep people in that type of situation because at some point everybody knows somebody who's been a victim or has a family member who's been a victim, and so they're rising up. But the one thing that I will say about the Iranian people is they're extremely brave. They don't use weapons, and that's the one thing that is really hurts them. I'm not saying that they should bear arms, but a lot of times they're just met with brute force and they don't have the weapons, and they haven't gotten outside support from other countries. So it's we'll see what happens. I think one of the biggest things for the Iranian people really to take back their country is for there to be mass strikes along the transportation network. The economy, that hurts the economy as well, with the fuel industry, the petrochemical industry, and really put a mass amount of pressure on the regime. And it's the people are no longer fleeing the country. They're now finally saying, we're going to stand up to them.
Yes, thank you for highlighting that. And lastly, do you think that finally we are seeing that Iranian government, instead of forcing the forcefully containing the protests, they're seeking a dialogue with them. For now we do not know if the dialogue will happen smoothly or not, or even if it will take place. But at least the reports show that they have said that we will have a dialogue with the protesters. Do you think, you've highlighted, there's bazaar people or the middlemen who are oppressed and they're getting sick of it? So do you think finally Iranian government is understanding the importance of these people, or to listen to these people, the middleman and the middle class?
Yeah, I definitely think they feel the pressure. They've been feeling it for a while now. And they've had a history of saying, we will have dialogue here. We've been put forward where certain presidents were reformists, some, from different camps that weren't the hardliners. And Pezeshkian was put forward. He was not one of the hardliners. He was a so-called reformist. And but we have to be clear with ourselves that at the end of the day, every decision is made by one person, and it's Ali Khamenei, the Ayatollah. So Pezeshkian can talk all he wants, but he's going to be told what to say. There may be some concessions with some of the Bazaris because they do hold economic power in the country, but this would be, in my view, basically a tactical retreat, saying we've out of repression, especially when you look at, since the Mahsa Amini murder, a lot of repression over several years now, 3 years, 4 years now, and this can't continue. So now we're going to this next phase. Let's try some dialogue here and see how we can, kind of lengthen the runway a little bit. So they try different tactics, but I do think the Iranian people are not going to respond to this well, because they see where dialogue has gotten them in the past, and it's gotten them nowhere.
Yes, thank you for bringing that and laying out the history. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Calamel.